You guys know the saying, they don't make them like they used to. Usually, that's just nostalgia talking. It's some old guy yelling at a cloud because he misses leaded gasoline and carburetors that need tuning every Tuesday. But sometimes that cliché is actually the cold, hard truth. We are living in an era of $80,000 pickup trucks. Trucks with twin-turbo V6s that sound like vacuum cleaners, trucks with 15-inch touchscreens that freeze when it gets cold, trucks with 10-speed transmissions that can't decide which gear they want to be in. We have trucks that are more computer than steel. But there was a moment, a specific window in time, where General Motors got it exactly right. A moment where technology met durability, where comfort met capability, and where the accountants didn't totally ruin the engineer's party. I'm talking about the GMT 800 platform. You know these trucks, the 1999 to 2006 Chevy Silverado, the GMC Sierra, the Tahoe, the Suburban, the Yukon, and the Escalade. If you look out your window right now, I guarantee you will see one driving by. They are everywhere. And there is a reason they are still everywhere, 20 years later, while their Ford and Dodge competitors from the same era have largely turned into piles of iron oxide dust. Today, I'm going to make a case that the GMT 800 isn't just a good used truck. I'm going to argue that it is the single greatest truck platform ever built by an American manufacturer. It is peak truck. And we are never going back. Let's set the stage, the late 90s. GM was coming off the GMT 400 platform, the OBS or old body style. Those were great trucks, boxy, reliable, classic. But by 1998, they were feeling like dinosaurs. Ford had just released the Jelly Bean F-150 with that modular overhead cam engine, and Dodge had the big rig Ram styling. GM was looking a little stale. They needed a home run. They didn't just need a facelift. They needed a revolution, and they delivered one. The GMT 800 launched in 1999 for the pickups, and it changed the game. Why? It wasn't the styling. I mean, the styling was fine, handsome, rounded, a little more aerodynamic, but that wasn't the revolution. The revolution was under the hood. This is the start of the legend of the LS. The GMT 800 introduced the world to the Gen III small block V8, the Vortec 4.8, the 5.3, and the mighty 6.0. If there is an automotive hall of fame, the 5.3L Vortec needs its own wing. Prior to this, we had the old 350 small block, a legend, sure, but the LS architecture, it was a clean sheet design. It used a deep skirt block with 6-bolt main bearing caps. Now, if you aren't a gearhead, let me explain why that matters. Most engines have 2 or 4 bolts holding the crankshaft in. The LS has 6. 4 vertical, 2 horizontal. That crankshaft is locked in there like it's in a bank vault. The bottom end of these engines is practically bulletproof. You can throw boost at them, you can abuse them, you can forget to change the oil for 10,000 miles, please don't, but you could, and they just do not die. They breathe better than the old engines, they make more power, they get better fuel economy. And they are simple push rods, 2 valves per cylinder. While Ford was over there playing with overhead cams, timing chains long enough to reach the moon, and spark plugs that either blew out of the head or broke off inside it, GM said, no. We're sticking to push rods. Critics called it antiquated, they called it low-tech. 20 years later, who's laughing? You can rebuild an LS in your driveway with a socket set and a hammer. A Ford Triton V8 from that era requires a master's degree and a prayer. The 5.3L Vortec is the cockroach of the automotive world. It will survive the nuclear apocalypse. You see these trucks with 300,000, 400,000 miles on the original engine. Sure, they have their quirks. Let's talk about piston slap. If you own a GMT 800, you know the sound. You start it up on a cold morning and it sounds like a diesel tractor. Clack, 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 clack. A new owner might panic. Oh no, the engine is blowing up. No, it's not. It's just the piston skirts rocking a little bit until they heat up and expand. It's a feature, not a bug. It sounds terrible for 30 seconds and then it goes away. And that engine will run for another 200,000 miles, sounding exactly like that every morning. It's just the truck clearing its throat. And then there's the chassis. The GMT 800 was the first time GM used hydroformed frame rails. Instead of stamping pieces of steel and welding them together, they used high-pressure water to blow a steel tube into a mold. This made the frame stiffer, lighter, and stronger. Combined with the independent front suspension, which the hardcore off-road guys hated at first because they wanted a solid axle, it gave these trucks a ride quality that was unheard of. Before 1999, driving a heavy-duty pickup felt like riding a tractor. After 1999, driving a Silverado felt like driving a big Impala. It tracked straight, it didn't beat you up. You could cross 3 states in a day and not need a chiropractor when you got there. Let's look at the lineup, because this platform spawned an entire dynasty. First, the Silverado and Sierra, the workhorses. From the 1500 half-ton to the 2500 HD and 3500. The Cat Eye Silverado 2003-2006, you guys know the look, the angry headlights. At the time, people thought it was ugly. Now it's the most desirable body style in the truck scene. It looks aggressive, it looks mean, it's the definitive street truck look. And the heavy duties, the Silverado 2500 HD with the 6.0L gas or the Duramax diesel, that is the gold standard of towing rigs. But then you have the SUVs. The Tahoe and the Yukon. This was the vehicle that conquered suburbia. Before the crossover took over, this is what the soccer moms drove. This is what the dads drove. It was the perfect size, big enough to haul the team, small enough to park at the mall. And the Suburban and Yukon XL, the kings of the road. If you have 4 kids and a dog and a boat, there is still, to this day, no better vehicle than a GMT 800 Suburban. It handles weight like it's nothing. The wheelbase is so long it rides like a luxury liner. And we have to talk about the Escalade. The GMT 800 Escalade, specifically the second generation, is a cultural icon. This is the truck that was in every rap video from 2002 to 2006. Tony Soprano drove one, it was a symbol. And the secret weapon of the Escalade and the Yukon Denali was the engine. They didn't just get the 5.3, they got the LQ9, the Tahoe 6.0 liter. Higher compression, more power. That 6.0L is a beast. It's thirsty, oh God, is it thirsty. You will pass everything on the road except a gas station. But the torque, it pulls like a freight train. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you these trucks are perfect. I'm a realist. The GMT 800 has flaws. And if you're buying one, you need to know them. Number 1, rust. If you live in the Rust Belt, New England, the Midwest, Canada, you know the pain. GM frame wax, what a terrible idea that was. Instead of painting the frames, they dipped them in this waxy coating. After about 5 years, the wax dries out, cracks, traps moisture underneath, and the frame rots from the inside out. Rocker panels, gone, cab corners, gone, rear wheel arches, dust. Brake lines, oh that's a fun one. The brake lines run right along the frame rail where the salt collects. It's not a matter of if your brake lines will burst, it's when. Usually, it happens when you're trying to stop at a red light. If you buy a GMT 800 today, you check the frame before you check the engine. The engine will run forever. The frame might dissolve by next Tuesday. Number 2, the 4L60E transmission. The slush box, the 4-speed automatic. This transmission is the glass jaw of the GMT 800. The engine can handle 500 horsepower, but the transmission struggles with stock power if you tow heavy in overdrive. The 3/4 clutch pack wears out, the sun shell breaks. If you hear a Chevy truck revving high but not moving fast, it's probably slipping in second gear. But here's the thing, because they built 10 million of these trucks, rebuilding a 4L60E is cheap. Every transmission shop in America can do it with their eyes closed. Or if you're smart, you swap in a 4L80E, the heavy-duty version, and never worry about it again. Number 3, the interior. Look, it was the early 2000s. GM interiors were made of melted-down Happy Meal toys. The plastic is hard. It scratches if you look at it wrong. The buttons on the radio and climate control, the paint peels off. You end up with these glowing white blobs where the volume and fan speed buttons used to be. And the instrument cluster, the stepper motors. You're driving down the highway doing 65. You look at your speedometer and it says you're doing 120 or 0. Or the gas gauge says full when you know you're empty. The stepper motors fail. But again, this is the beauty of the GMT 800. You can pull the cluster out in 5 minutes, send it to a guy on eBay, and have it rebuilt with LEDs and better motors for $50. And that brings me to my main argument, the DIY factor. This is why the GMT 800 is the king. Modern trucks are hostile to mechanics. You need proprietary software to change a battery. You need to remove the cab to work on the turbos. Sensors everywhere. The GMT 800 invites you to fix it. Alternator die, it's right there on top. 2 bolts, 10 minutes. Water pump right there in the front. Spark plugs, you can reach all 8 of them without breaking your knuckles. Parts are dirt cheap. You can walk into any AutoZone, any Napa, any junkyard in America and find parts for a 2003 Silverado. It is the most supported vehicle platform in history. You can modify them endlessly. Do you want a lowered street truck? Easy. Do you want a lifted overland rig? Easy. Do you want to make 1,000 horsepower, turbo the stock 5.3 bottom end, upgrade the cam and valve springs and send it? It's Lego for adults. There is a freedom in owning a GMT 800. When you drive a new $80,000 Denali, you are terrified. You're terrified of scratching it. You're terrified of the warranty expiring. You're terrified of the electronic air suspension failing and costing $4,000 to fix. When you drive a GMT 800, you don't care. Scratch on the bumper, it's a truck. Check engine light, it's probably an O2 sensor or a NOx sensor, which, by the way, are under the intake manifold. A weird design choice, GM, but we forgive you. You just drive it, it feels solid. The doors close with a heavy thud. The seats, oh man, the seats. The seats in a 2001 Tahoe are like La-Z-Boy recliners. They are plush. They don't hold you in place in a corner, but who cares? You aren't cornering. You're cruising. Let's talk about the competition for a second, just to be fair. The Ford F-150 of this era, the 10th and 11th gen, the 5.4 Triton. Listen, the 2-valve 5.4 was okay, but the 3-valve, cam phasers, timing chains, spark plugs, they are nightmares, and the chassis wasn't as good. The Dodge Ram, the Cummins engine is a legend, yes, the engine is god tier, but the rest of the truck wrapped around that engine is garbage. The dashboards cracked and fell into your lap, the transmissions were made of glass, the front ends wobbled. The Toyota Tundra, excellent truck, the 4.7 V8 is legendary, but it was smaller, it didn't have the payload. And the frame rot on the Tundras was even worse than the Chevys. So the GMT 800 sits in the sweet spot. It has the reliability of the Toyota, the comfort that beat the Ford, and an engine that rivals the HEMI, but without the reliability issues. We also have to talk about K-Tie culture. In the last 5 years, the value of these trucks has skyrocketed. People are realizing what they are. A clean, low-mileage 2005 Silverado Z71 used to be a $5,000 truck. Now, you're seeing them go for $15,000, $20,000 on Bring a Trailer. Why? Because people are tired of the new stuff. They are tired of cylinder deactivation, AFM DOD. Now, the very late GMT 800's 2007 Classic did start to experiment with AFM, but for the most part, the GMT 800 era is pre-AFM. That means V8 mode all the time. Modern GM trucks, the lifters fail because of the cylinder deactivation systems. The engines eat themselves at 80,000 miles. The GMT 800 5.3, it just keeps spinning. There is a soul to these trucks. The steering feel recirculating ball on the trucks, rack and pinion on the later 1500s. It's light, over-assisted, distinctly American. The sound of the starter motor, chigga chigga vroom, it's iconic. The layout of the dashboard, it's logical, column shifter, manual 4x4 floor shifter on the base models, the best way. If you're looking for a vehicle today and you need something to tow your boat, take your kids to school, hauling lumber, and get you to work every day, stop looking at the 2024 models. Go find a 2004 Tahoe. Go find a 2002 Sierra 2500. Spend $10,000 buying it. Spend $2,000 fixing the rocker panels and the brake lines. Spend $500 refreshing the suspension. And you will have a vehicle that will outlast the payments on a new truck. There is a reason you see landscapers driving these. There is a reason you see construction workers driving these. Because time is money, and a truck that is in the shop for a software update or a turbo failure is losing money. A GMT 800 is never in the shop for long, and if it is, it's cheap. I truly believe we will never see a platform like this again. Regulations won't allow it. Emission standards demand smaller displacement, turbos, hybrids, 10-speed transmissions. Safety standards demand thicker pillars, heavier electronics, lane keep assist, automatic braking. The GMT 800 is the last of the analog digital trucks. It had fuel injection and OBD2, so it ran perfectly in the cold and was easy to diagnose. But it didn't have the nanny state trying to drive the truck for you. It respected you as a driver. It assumed you knew how to merge onto a highway without a blind spot monitor beeping at you. It represents the peak of General Motors. Think about GM in the early 2000s. They were huge, they were arrogant, but they had the budget. They engineered the GMT 800 to be the best truck in the world, and they succeeded. Before the 2008 crash, before the bankruptcy, before the bailouts. This was GM flexing its muscles. I want you to think about the longevity. 1,000,000 miles. There was a guy, Hugh, with a 2006 Silverado 3500 with the Duramax, which is on the GMT 800 HD platform. He hit 1,000,000 miles in 6 years towing RVs. Then there are countless gas trucks with 400K. It's not an anomaly, it's the standard. So here is my advice to you. If you have a GMT 800, keep it. Do not sell it, do not trade it in for a shiny new Silverado with a 2.7L turbo 4-cylinder. You will regret it. Wash the undercarriage, oil coat the frame, fluid film is your best friend. Fix the little things, reupholster the driver's seat bottom where it's ripped, replace the knock sensors. Keep it alive because they aren't making more of them. And if you don't have one, get one. Find a grandpa-owned Silverado. Find a soccer mom Yukon that's been garaged. Yes, the gas mileage sucks. You're gonna get 14 miles per gallon, maybe 16 if you drive downhill with a tailwind. But do the maths. A new truck payment is $1,000 a month. You can buy a lot of gas for $1,000 a month. The math works in favor of the GMT 800 every single time. This platform is the backbone of America. It built houses, it plowed snow, it towed campers, it brought babies home from the hospital. It is honest, it is strong, it is simple. It is the Chevy small block V8 wrapped in hydroformed steel. It is the greatest truck platform ever made. So next time you see that rusty, dented 2003 Silverado sitting at a stoplight, sounding like a diesel because of piston slap, with one daytime running light burned out, because one is always burned out. Give it a nod, respect your elders. Because that old truck will probably be on the road long after the plastic spaceships of today have been recycled into toaster ovens. Long live the GMT 800, the king of the road.